Greetings, fellow Guitalalians. Jeff Weinberger coming at you here with a new tutorial. I'd like to talk about seventh chords today. There's some beautiful voicings that we can do on the guitar using just our first four strings. Of course, there's all kinds of beautiful voicings using the low E and the A. We all know and love some of those seventh chord voicings, but this is concentrating on that set of strings that is the thinnest on the guitar, and it tends to be the brightest. Takes all the bass out of the sound. So that opening chord progression I did, that was kind of inspired by 70s stuff. Bob James and Grover Washington Jr., Hubert Laws, David Sanborn, that sort of thing. Great kind of funk, jazz, fusion music from the 70s. That was using chords only living here on the D, G, B, and A and E strings, excuse me. So that first voicing I played, that's going to be your 7th fret, your 9th fret, your 7th fret, and your 9th fret. A beautiful F sharp minor 7 chord. And then if you drop one of the notes and make it 7th fret, 8th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, that's a beautiful B7 chord. So it's F sharp minor to B7, and then it was E minor 7 to A7. I just took those two chords and moved them down 2 frets. Dropping the progression down a whole step. To practice that, you could go even further in whole steps. You could just practice it down your whole neck like this. They even sound good down there in the open position of the guitar. But in this case, I was playing them up here. 7th fret and 5th fret. Just a vamp, a 4-chord vamp, a repeating chord progression. So that's just one example of these 7th chords way up the neck. Let's check out some others. I have jotted down a bunch of these. I'm going to make this available to you. If you want to click on the link down below, that'll take you to Patreon, and for absolutely free, you'll get your hands on all these great 7th chords. So you got this kind. We all know this as an A7 chord. You hear this in blues all the time. So that's like X 0 2 2 2 3 A7. Well, that has its root on the G string, so it's movable. If the root is A right there, and that's an A7 chord, move it up 2 and you get B7. Move it up another one and you get C7. Move it up another and you get D7. Move it up another whole step, you get E7, etc. So that's a really versatile, dominant 7th chord voicing. We started as A7, we turned it into lots of other 7s. There's this one. This is really cool. This one I do on the ukulele all the time, but transferred over to guitar, it goes like this. The one I'm doing right now is, we're just always assuming the first 2 strings are X'd out. The first 2 closest to your eyes head is your low E string and your A string. So I'm not even going to talk about those strings as XX. I'm just going to say that this chord is 5, 7, 6, 7. It's a G7 chord when I do it there at the 5th fret, G7. Up 2 frets, it's A7. Up 2 more frets, it's B7. Up another fret, and it is C7. So this has its root on the 4th string, on the D string. And then another version of the dominant 7th chord would be this one. It's a cool voicing. Do this on the ukulele all the time too. But this one, say I did it back here at the 3rd fret. It's 4, 5, 3, 5. It's a D7 chord. It happens to have its root on the 2nd string, on the B string. And then one last dominant 7th before we get into majors and minors. This dominant 7, which I used in the intro. But here's a G7 chord for you. It's 3, 4, 3, 3. And its root is on the high E string. That's the note G. So this is G7 back here. It's A7, 2 frets higher. B7, 2 frets higher. and C7, 2 frets higher. One thing I really like to do a lot on this chord, which is not uncommon, people have known this for decades now, but you can take that chord and lower the third and then hammer on back to the major third. So you start with 3, 3, 3, 3, but then you hammer on to make it 3, 4, 3, 3, like this. That's a pretty cool sound. That's a pretty common trick, but in case you didn't know it, there you go. Nice little trick you can do with that particular form of the dominant 7. Let's switch over to major and minor 7.